The year is 1676. The Virginia colony thrives on tobacco cultivation. This green gold enriches a few, leaving many struggling. Wealthy planters dominate the social hierarchy. They control the best lands and the House of Burgesses. Below them, a growing class of discontent. Former indentured servants find limited prospects. These freedmen are ripe for rebellion. Westward expansion ignites tensions with native tribes. The stage is set for an uprising. The Virginia frontier, a volatile mix of ambition and fear, becomes a tinderbox. As settlers push further inland, they encounter resistance from Native American tribes who have long called these lands home. Skirmishes erupt, fueled by land disputes, cultural misunderstandings, and the inherent dangers of frontier life. Governor William Berkeley, a staunch defender of the established order, faces growing pressure to address the escalating violence. However, his policies, often seen as favoring the wealthy planters and appeasing Native American allies, further alienate the frontier settlers. They perceive Berkeley's government as out of touch and unresponsive to their needs. Among these disgruntled frontiersmen stands Nathaniel Bacon, a recent arrival to Virginia and a man of ambition and fiery temperament. Bacon, witnessing the plight of his fellow settlers, will soon emerge as a leader of their discontent. The frontier tensions, simmering for years, are about to boil over, ignited by Bacon's charisma and the settlers' desperation. Nathaniel Bacon, a young and ambitious planter, arrives in Virginia seeking his fortune. He quickly becomes disillusioned by the entrenched power of the planter elite and the plight of ordinary settlers. Bacon, a man of action, refuses to remain silent. He openly criticizes Governor Berkeley's administration, accusing it of corruption, favoritism, and neglecting the needs of the frontier. Bacon's grievances resonate with the growing discontent among settlers, who see him as a champion of their cause. He calls for reforms, demanding lower taxes, greater representation in government, and more aggressive action against Native American tribes. Bacon's fiery rhetoric and bold challenges to the established order strike a chord with the frustrated and marginalized. His message of defiance spreads like wildfire through the colony, uniting settlers from diverse backgrounds under a common banner of resistance. The seeds of rebellion sown by economic hardship, social inequality, and political disenfranchisement are about to bear fruit. Nathaniel Bacon's charisma and bold pronouncements ignite the simmering discontent into open rebellion. He rallies the settlers with promises of reform, protection from Native American raids, and a fairer share of the colony's wealth. Bacon's followers, drawn from all levels of society, see him as a leader who understands their struggles and will fight for their rights. They flock to his banner, eager to challenge the authority of Governor Berkeley and the planter elite. Bacon, seizing the moment, forms a militia of his own, defying Berkeley's authority and launching unauthorized attacks against Native American villages. While these actions horrify the colonial government, they solidify Bacon's image as a man of action and a protector of the people. His popularity soars and he becomes a symbol of defiance against a government perceived as corrupt and unresponsive. The rebellion, initially sparked by frontier tensions, morphs into a broader movement, challenging the very foundations of power and privilege in colonial Virginia. Section 5, Bacon's Rebellion erupts, a fight for rights and representation. In 1676, Bacon's rebellion explodes into open conflict. Fueled by a potent mix of economic grievances, social tensions, and political disenfranchisement, the rebellion quickly escalates from isolated frontier skirmishes into a full-blown uprising against the colonial government. Bacon and his followers, now a formidable force, clash with Governor Berkeley's forces in a series of bloody engagements. The rebellion exposes the deep divisions within Virginia society. While wealthy planters and government officials rally behind Berkeley, denouncing Bacon as a traitor and a threat to colonial order, ordinary settlers, indentured servants, and even some enslaved Africans join Bacon's ranks. Emboldened by his promise of a more just and equitable society, The rebellion, initially focused on Native American conflicts, transforms into a fight for greater rights and representation, challenging the very legitimacy of Berkeley's rule. The colony descends into chaos as the two sides battle for control, leaving a trail of destruction and bloodshed in their wake. Section 6. Jamestown in Flames, the audacity of Bacon's rebellion. In a daring move that shocks the colony and reverberates throughout the British Empire, Bacon and his followers march on Jamestown, the capital of Virginia. They seize control of the town, forcing Governor Berkeley to flee. The rebels, emboldened by their victory, proceed to burn Jamestown to the ground, an act of symbolic defiance that underscores their determination to dismantle the existing power structure. The burning of Jamestown sends shockwaves through the colony. It is a stark demonstration of the rebels' outrage and their willingness to challenge the very foundations of colonial authority. The act exposes the vulnerability of the colonial government and the depth of resentment simmering beneath the surface of Virginia society. Bacon, now in control of the capital, attempts to legitimize his rebellion by establishing a new government and issuing a series of reforms, including universal suffrage for freemen and limitations on the power of the governor and the planter elite. However, his triumph is short-lived. Section 7. The rebellion crumbles, Bacon's death and the aftermath. Just as quickly as it ignites, Bacon's rebellion begins to unravel. In October 1676, at the height of his power, Nathaniel Bacon falls ill and dies, possibly from dysentery or malaria. His death robs the rebellion of its charismatic leader and throws the movement into disarray. Without Bacon's leadership, the rebellion loses its momentum. Governor Berkeley, having regrouped and received reinforcements from England, returns to Jamestown and swiftly crushes the remaining resistance. Berkeley exacts a brutal revenge on the rebels, executing dozens of Bacon's followers and confiscating their property. The rebellion, once a powerful challenge to colonial authority, collapses under the weight of internal divisions, the loss of its leader, and the ruthless response of the colonial government. Despite its failure, Bacon's rebellion leaves an indelible mark on Virginia and the course of American history. Section 8. The price of rebellion, retribution and the shift to slavery. In the aftermath of Bacon's rebellion, Governor Berkeley unleashes retribution upon the surviving rebels. Public executions strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dared to challenge the colonial order. Berkeley's harsh measures crush dissent and reassert the dominance of the planter elite. This leads to a fateful shift in colonial labor practices. Indentured servitude gives way to the brutal system of African slavery. Section 9. Seeds of Change, long-term effects on colonial America. While brutally suppressed, Bacon's rebellion sends shockwaves through the British Empire. The uprising reveals the fragility of colonial control and the deep-seated tensions simmering beneath the surface of colonial society. In England, the rebellion prompts soul-searching and debate about the governance of the American colonies. King Charles II, alarmed by the rebellion, dispatches a royal commission to investigate its causes and to rein in the excesses of Governor Berkeley. The commission recommends reforms aimed at addressing some of the grievances of the colonists, including greater autonomy for the colonial assembly and measures to improve relations with Native American tribes. Bacon's rebellion also plants the seeds for future resistance movements in America. The rebellion demonstrates the power of popular mobilization and the effectiveness of challenging unjust authority. The memory of Bacon's defiance against a corrupt and unresponsive government will resonate with future generations of Americans, inspiring them to fight for their rights and liberties. Section 10. Echoes of Discontent, Bacon's Rebellion and the American Spirit. Bacon's rebellion, though ultimately unsuccessful, holds a significant place in American history. It highlights the social and economic tensions in the early colonies and the struggle for power. The rebellion's legacy resonates with future generations challenging injustice. The echoes of Bacon's defiance can be heard in the events leading up to the American Revolution. Ideals of self-governance and resistance to tyranny found full expression in the struggle for independence. Bacon's rebellion stands as a pivotal moment in the development of American identity.